Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Aren't we lucky that this is air conditioned? It's great to see you all this morning. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet you personally, my name is Bill Reynolds. I'm in the college class of 1979. I have the great pleasure of serving you as the Executive Director of the Alumni Association, and I'm also the Associate Vice President for the Annual Fund and Alumni Relations here at Georgetown. So on behalf of the Alumni Association and the university, welcome home to the Hilltop. I'd now like to direct your attention to the screen on stage for a video to kick off our program. During this past academic year, Senior Vice President for Strategic Development and Interim Director of Athletics, Dr. Daniel Porterfield, led an effort to define the core values and qualities of Georgetown athletics. Coaches and student athletes shared their insights throughout this process, and their perspectives were at the center of this work. Dr. Porterfield then invited a group of student-athlete leaders to produce, with the help of a professional director, a 5-minute video celebrating Georgetown athletics and articulating these core values. This video was created to be shown at the first ever SACS Awards for student athletes last month. And this was a celebration that was conceived and organized by the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. I'm very happy to present this exciting video created for and by our student athletes because it conveys their passion and the integral role that intercollegiate athletics plays in our educational mission. The video. What a powerful, evocative, emotional expression of the inextricable fact that we are, We're very fortunate this morning to hear from President DeGioia and an esteemed panel of staff and alumni on athletics at Georgetown and the impact of sports on the campus, the community, and society. It's now my pleasure to welcome to the stage the panel participants. President DeGioia, college class of 1979, and the 48th president of Georgetown University. John Thompson III, head coach of men's basketball at Georgetown. Ted Leonsis, college class 1977. And Lee Reed, who was named the 17th Director of Athletics at Georgetown in April. Welcome, Lee. And finally, Nora Swanson, a 2010 college graduate. I will now turn the program over to President DeGioia.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. And thank you all for joining us this morning. To all of our alumni, it's always a pleasure to welcome you back to the Hilltop, to welcome you to what I always hope will be another home. And I'm delighted to be here today with 4 members of our community to talk about the value of athletics at Georgetown. We're also going to explore the larger impact of athletics on our university, our community, and our society. Few things bring and bind our Georgetown family together and exemplify the true spirit of Georgetown in the way that athletics do. As competitors, as parents of competitors, coaches, sponsors, or simply fans of our proud athletic tradition, I believe this is an understanding that we all share. And we're proud of the fact that at Georgetown, all of our students who compete for Georgetown on one of our 29 intercollegiate athletic teams are students first. Students who can and do compete and compete well, but who also strive for excellence in the classroom. It's a privilege to have with us this morning for this discussion 4 distinguished and accomplished members of the Georgetown community. John Thompson III serves as the head coach of Georgetown's men's basketball team, a role that he has held for 6 years. Before Georgetown, John was head coach at Princeton University. During his time with us, he has led the team to 1 Final Four, a Big East tournament title, back-to-back Big East regular season titles, 3 straight NCAA tournaments, 2 invitations to the National Invitation Tournament. And additionally, Georgetown has been ranked in the top 25 teams in the country for 38 straight weeks. And in the last 3 years, more Georgetown players have been selected in the NBA draft than from any other school in the Big East Conference. John is also a 2-time winner of the Black Coaches Association Male Coach of the Year Award and was named in 2007 the National Association of Basketball Coaches Coach of the Year. As most of you know, John's father, John Thompson Jr., is in the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield and served as our coach for 27 years. He led Georgetown to our first NCAA national championship in 1984 and demonstrated in powerful ways the importance of equal opportunity in athletics. John has coached in international contexts. He's seen former players develop extraordinary careers, and he's coached at two of the finest institutions in the country. And I'm going to ask John to offer reflections about the significance of athletics in our society, of basketball in particular, in our national consciousness. Seated next to John, our second panelist is Ted Leonsis, graduate of the Georgetown class of 1977, a member of our board of directors, and this year, just about a month ago, received our Alumni Association's highest honor, the John Carroll Award. When he was a student at Georgetown, Ted enjoyed an early introduction to computers that led him, at age 24, to found the first software publishing company called List. He later founded several new media companies, including Redgate Communications, which eventually merged with AOL, where he served for 14 years as president or vice chairman. Most recently, Ted has emerged as a leader in sports enterprises, as owner of the NHL's Washington Capitals, the WNBA's Washington Mystics, and to be concluded imminently, the NBA's Washington Wizards, and also the DC Verizon Center. I was struck by a section of Ted's recent memoir, The Business of Happiness, in which he reflects on how sports build community. And as the owner of sports franchises here in Washington, I'll ask Ted to reflect on just how sports builds and strengthens community. Next to Ted is Lee Reed, who was named Georgetown's 17th Director of Athletics in April. He was recruited to Georgetown after serving as Director of Athletics at Cleveland State University for 8 years. Lee's successful tenure at Cleveland State provides many examples of his leadership and vision, including 11 Horizon League championships and 15 trips to NCAA championships. At the conclusion of the 2007-2008 academic year, the Horizon League honored Cleveland State for the first time with the James J. McCafferty Award, which recognizes the top overall athletic program in the league. Lee is a national leader in intercollegiate athletics, having served on the NCAA Management Council and as president of the NC1 AAA Athletic Directors Association in 2007-2008. In March of 2005, he was named one of the 50 most powerful African Americans in sports by Black Enterprise magazine. As Director of Athletics at Georgetown, Lee oversees the operations of all 29 of our intercollegiate athletic programs and more than 750 student athletes. And I'd like to ask Lee to offer his reflections on the importance for a university to offer competitive opportunities in athletics. And our final panelist is Nora Swanson, a 2010 graduate of the college. She was a 4-year member of our varsity women's soccer team and was captain of this year's team. She was also the elected leader of our Student Athletic Advisory Council. And in that capacity, she served as Georgetown's representative to the Big East, and this past year as the Big East representative to the NCAA. I'm going to ask Nora to offer her thoughts as a member of a team to reflect on what athletics meant to her as part of her undergraduate experience. I'm going to sit down now and begin a conversation with our colleagues, and after a little bit of conversation together, I'll open up questions from the audience. We have cards that we'll be handing out, and if you have questions, if you could write them down on the card, they'll be brought up to me, and I'll try to get through as many of them as we can. So it's a pleasure to welcome you all here this morning, and I'm going to get started right this minute.